All right, and I believe we are now live in the Facebook group. How you doing, everybody? For all of you that are new to the group treating defeat low back pain, my name is Ryan Bristol. I'm a physical therapist and low back pain specialist, and I'm excited to be here with you all because we're having a real interesting special presentation for you all with a new friend of mine named Carla Wolf and a few other special guests from Team Zinzino. And today's topic is we're going to talk about how nutrition can help those with chronic pain and chronic health conditions, and if supplements can help you. And if you can see Carla right here next to me, she's the expert behind all of this. She's worked with this company Zinzino for I believe 10 years already. So she's well versed in everything behind these products and how it helps out so many different people throughout the country and even overseas in Europe. But here's Carla. Let her introduce herself to you all.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Yes, it's been great to get to know Ryan. He is also somebody passionate about helping other people. Now, I can start maybe by telling my story. I was born and raised in Minnesota and took an exchange program and ended up in Europe. And in Scandinavia, in Denmark, where I lived for 30 years, I had my 4 children, and I now have 2 grandbabies there also. But my youngest son had an Asperger diagnosis. And as a mom, I wanted to do everything I could to study this. And through this journey of studying, I have found out something that for me is like the reset button for health, Ryan. You know how when the computer goes down and you have the Control-Alt-Delete button just to get things reset? That's kind of what this is about. It's a way to reset your health. And I can tell you that my son is a totally different kid. And all of the things that I have learned about and hearing all the stories about when people are getting the right nutrition and the right balance, it's made a difference in so many things, including the chronic pain that many people I know on here have been struggling with maybe for many years. And I think it's just debilitating. But Ryan, I think one of the things that people want to know is if supplements are just a waste of money, or if it's something that you can be sure really works. We've talked about that too, and how important it is to get your body working correct, right?
Exactly. As a physical therapist, I've been practicing for a little over 8 years now, and even before being a physical therapist in college and PT school, you hear so many different types of diets out there, and diets like a vegetarian diet, a low carbohydrate diet, a Mediterranean diet that's supposed to reduce inflammation, and so many different supplement and vitamin companies out there. But never in my life have I ever seen that that this product has truly helped with somebody with reducing inflammation or helping with their pain or really doing anything for them. Um, so in my career in physical therapy, I've almost had a lot of doubts when it came to a lot of supplements and vitamin companies until I met you, and then that really, turned a light bulb on for me where I wanted to hear more about this company.
Well, I can tell you why I was the same way. I was very skeptical. I was a teacher and a counselor overseas in Denmark for over 20 years. And I was that teacher who was the one who went with parents when they got a diagnosis, because I was the one that helped implementing things in the classroom. And when my youngest son got his diagnosis, in overseas, they had this package of what you could do, nutritionally, those same kind of diets, Ryan, that you're talking about. And I had my doubts, and the things that they were recommending, Ryan, are super expensive. And when you're giving, somebody some supplements, you're looking at them and you're thinking, is this even working? I can't tell. How do I know? But that's where somebody introduced me to this company. And I want to talk about this not to be salesy for the company itself. I want people to get excited about the science behind it. So I don't want to be mentioning all the products and things like that. So I want you to hear about the science. Number one, the company offered this test. And it was a simple at-home blood test. And what it's talking about is getting your cells working correctly. And that kind of made sense to me, Ryan. It was like healthy cells, healthy body. Because you know how your body really wants to repair itself. Your body wants to fight all these things that are coming into the body. But how do you know how strong inside? You don't have any gauges. So one of the things that I found out is if you took this test, one of the numbers in this test is about an omega-6-3 balance. And omega-6s are these plant oils, and the omega-3s are usually like marine fish oils, things like that. And if you do the study, all the diets you talked about is actually working, trying to get your body back into an omega-6-3 balance, because that's what your cell membranes are made of. And if you have a good cell membrane, you can get the right nutrients into that cell, and especially the toxins out. Because when your cell membrane gets stiff, you're not going to get any nutrition in. So you're going to get more tired and brain fog and have issues. But the worst part is, Ryan, the worst part about this is, Ryan, is that you're not going to get those toxins out. And that, as you know, is where all the chronic inflammation comes from. And that's the root of about 95% of everything out there that people are suffering from, including pain. And I know that's the chronic inflammation is what you are working at for people to get down into balance.
Exactly.
So that's actually what we do first. We take somebody's test and find out how that omega-6-3 balance is. Now you're made to be 1-to-1. That means that your body would be working like we did maybe 100 years ago. And as time went on and industrialization came and fast food came, if you get over 3-to-1, that's when that cell's not going to work. So what do you think the scores are now? Well, our company is one of the leading omega-6-3 testing companies. And the average in the United States is 25 times the amount of omega-6 to the omega-3, which means that the cells are super stiff. Right. And that's probably the main reason people are suffering and having so much pain. Now, that's one issue. When I saw this and I thought, well, I'm going to test my own son. Of my 4 kids, 3 of them had about 20-to-1, 19 and 20. But my youngest had 29.4-to-1. Now, why would he have so much higher? But you know what happened, Ryan, is that within a short period of time, and honestly, it was like 2 weeks, and he started to change. And then people started to ask me, what did you do to Christian? How is he changing? Now, I didn't understand it well enough. So then I started following the doctor who formulates this. His name is Dr. Paul Clayton. He's written this book. I highly recommend it. It's called Let Your Food Be Your Pharmaconutrition. So instead of all the pharmaceuticals, let's see if your body can heal itself. And he has a 3-step system about how you're going to heal. And actually, I'm going to say this is one for everybody. If you are a medical professional, if you're like Ryan, or if you're a doctor, I would highly recommend the one called Out of the Fire. I did pre-med back then, and it's still over my head. So you need to be really interested. But it really is why chronic inflammation is the root of all disease and how to put out the fire. So if you really follow him, he says there's a 3-step system. Number 1, that cell needs to be flexible because that's a little machine. Number 2, and I think everybody has been reading a lot, it's been out and really known a lot of places lately about how important the microbiome are in your gut. That's a big deal in regards to inflammation. It's a big deal if you have a lot of pain because it's just not working and we're killing it off so many ways. So he said, get your body into balance, get your microbiome working correctly, and then get the right vitamins and minerals in your body. And Ryan, that's the Control-Alt-Delete of getting your body back. So it's not like something odd or something weird or something that you know is different. It's actually just what your body's made of and getting the things back into it that we had 100 years ago. You know, the soil isn't the same. There's so much that you need to get. And this is exactly what he says. And Ryan, there are so many stories out there about people that it has made a world of difference for. Not just my son, not just mentally, but there's so many physical changes that it makes a difference. But I think you know the science behind chronic inflammation. And if you're getting something to fix that, you're also having, you're going to see different results. That's what you see in your practice.
Right. That's what I love so much about this too. It's not just you don't just take the products and have a subjective, like, I think this feels better. You have that before and after test to give you real objective information that your body has changed by taking these products over time.
Mhm.
And me personally, not just with my patients, but myself, my family, I mean, I probably majority of the people I know have some form of chronic inflammation that just hasn't been resolved, and it's been going on for more years than they could even count.
And and people don't know it. You don't know when you have cancer from looking on somebody's outside. You don't know. So that's why it's really important to find out where you are balance wise and to do something about it. And to be honest, we have taken about 700,000 tests. And Ryan, 97% of everybody who's taken their first test has failed the test. And so we know that people are just not in balance. And
Yep.
honestly, of everybody who has taken a second test now, taken the products, taken a second test after 120 days. Now, some people are hoping that it's just going to be a quick fix. Your cells renew. You have brain cells, skin cells, white blood cells, red blood cells, and the red blood cells take the longest. So they take at least 120 days. So we recommend people to take their before test, and then after 120 days, take a second test. But you know what, Ryan? When people take that second test, of everybody who has taken a second test, 95% are down to 3-1 or better. And
Yeah,
the results are incredible.
that's huge.
That is really good. And actually, if it's okay with you, Ryan, I would like to just pull some people on that have been taking the products for a while, and they could tell their story. So I'm going to start with a couple named Jeff and Donna Patnode. So I'll let them tell their stories of what they've done. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Donna.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Carla. Hi, Ryan.
Hello
Thank
there.
you
Hi.
for letting us tell our story. We're Jeff and Donna Patnode. We're from Aitkin up in Minnesota, cold Minnesota, but right now we're down in sunny Arizona. We had heard about this about 6.5 years ago. But prior to that, years prior, I had been diagnosed with osteopenia. And here's what actually happened to me. I had been on an omega-3 because my doctor said it was important. When I had my test taken, my test was a 10-1. So we heard about Zinzino. I had my test taken 10-1, and I knew that I needed to get under 3-1. But we had heard about it after Donna had fallen, just a quick little fall. And I caught myself with my right arm. And actually what happened was I shattered my shoulder and I broke my arm in 2 places. And I also tore the rotator cuff all the way through. So I had a mess on my hands. So surgery came and went, and they put in a plate and 16 screws. But through all of that, we're very active. They told me that I would only get about 70 to 75% of the mobility of my arm back. Well, just at that time, we had heard about Zinzino. And I said, I'm on a fish oil. And they said, well, you need to be tested. So I did, and I had my test results. And I was very proud and pleased that after a period of time, I had a 100% mobility back in my right arm. I've been on the balance oil, which is the proprietary blend. And I also have been taking the wonderful, beautiful vitamins that help to repair damaged cells and tissues. And I sure am a believer, because at 62 years old, to be able to get that mobility back after that much damage. Well, so then what did I do in November? Is we were at a doggy park in in Florida, and I got taken out by a great big golden retriever, and I broke the other arm. But that was in November, and they cannot believe how quickly, again, for my age and with Pino, that I've got that mobility almost back. So I'm feeling totally good about what we're doing.
So we're small business owners up in Minnesota and been there for 38 years. And in our business, I do a lot of lifting, and I've had back pain probably since my early 30s. And when we found out about this, I was 56, and we always believed in vitamins. So we've been taking vitamins for 25 years. So when we found out about the balanced oil and got my body into balance, the back aches and the body aches went away. So I could only contribute to that for the balanced oil. The vitamins help, of course, but yeah, it was getting the body into balance that helped with the aches and pains. Shoot, I feel like I'm in my 40s again. And I still do lifting, and I don't have the issues. So.
And what was your test results?
Oh, my test, when I first got tested, I was 11-to-1 ratio. And I took my second test, I was a 3.9-to-1 ratio.
Fantastic. Well,
Awesome.
thank you guys. It's fantastic to hear how it's helped both of you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ryan, thank you. Ryan, isn't that kind of what so many people have, is they have issues and they're going in and they want to repair better. They want to have that better restitution time. But the body can do so much on its own if it has optimal conditions.
Yeah. It's kind of like the missing ingredient to physical therapy, kind of like what Donna just said. I mean, that's one of the common injuries I see in physical therapy. It's a bad shoulder injury like herself, and you had to get screws and plates put in, and we could be working with these patients for months trying to get their range of motion and strength back. But sometimes the shoulder joint, it's called the capsule, it just really freezes up, becomes so stiff. Essentially, you could call it a frozen shoulder. So that's what a lot of patients get stuck with, and we can stretch them like crazy with the exercises, and they're working on it for weeks, but sometimes it's just hitting the exercises itself, it just almost hits a plateau at some point. Maybe that's why her doctor said that you're only going to get 70% of your range of motion back. That can be pretty common, but for her, by taking the balanced oils and getting her ratios in line, I mean, look what it did for her.
And
So
there's a lot of studies out there. Zinzino has a lot of brand ambassadors of athletes that are taking the health protocol, our 3 products together we call the health protocol. And a lot of them are doing that to have higher performance because every little bit counts. But also they did a study on a soccer group in Lillestrøm in Norway, and they did the study and getting them to balance 1 year. The following year, Ryan, they had the same amount of injuries, but they halved the restitution time. And that's a study you can find online of getting people into balance. Okay, Ryan, I do have a couple other people here that I would like to introduce everybody to, and that is Trisha and Tom Martin. Trisha and Tom are also up here in Minnesota. Could we hear a little bit of your guys' stories?
Hi, Ryan. I'm Tom from Aiken. I'm retired now, but spent 35 years as a welder, steel fabricator. My family heritage or history is heart disease. And I've had 2 heart attacks, one repaired with stents, the other with a single bypass. When I first took my test, it was 14-to-1, and my second test was 4-to-1. And so after taking the 3 supplements that Carla is the protocol, it's helping keeping my body in the optimal motion and condition.
And you can feel that, Tom.
Oh yeah.
And that's what a lot of people want to do. Yeah, Trisha?
Yes, hi, I'm Trisha. And when I was first introduced to these products, I made a list of things that were kind of bothering me. One thing was my skin. I had red welts all along my hairline. It was really bad. I had pain in my back. I would go to the chiropractor, and 3 days later, I wanted to go back. plus I had dry eyes. So it's kind of like my list there. My first score showed that I was 9 times the omega-6 as omega-3. Well, I started taking the balance oil, and in 2 weeks, my skin completely cleared up. The pain in my back went away and never came back, and my dry eyes cleared up too. The doctor said, no problem. My test has come back at 2 to 1. And I still remember when I started taking the vitamins, my energy level skyrocketed and stayed up there. And I think that's what everybody wants, is more energy.
Mhm.
And I found it.
And to have the energy and be able to use their bodies to do something about it. Yeah. Well, thank you, Trisha and Tom. I so appreciate your guys' coming on and telling your story.
You're welcome.
See, Ryan, isn't that what's exciting too? Because when she's talking about skin issues and she's talking about dry eyes, do you know that no matter what people have, it actually all ties together? It's because our body isn't working optimally. So if you want to have optimal body functions, whether it's heart function, brain function, skin, bone, healing, everything, Ryan, all this ties together of just having your body working right.
That's what really impressed me about these products to begin with, because it's not just about, okay, reduced inflammation with these products and you'll have less back pain or shoulder pain. Hearing the other testimonials about their heart conditions improving and their skin and abdominal pain.
It
I
makes
mean,
a
it's
difference.
really an all body.
So a lot of people ask me things like, well, can't you just take, fish oil? And this is not a fish oil. Just so you know, it's a balanced product. You're getting into balance. There's different products you can use to get into balance. And actually, if people just search omega-6-3 balance, you're going to find 65 million hits that talk about it. Some of them will say, like you said at the beginning, Ryan, go on a Mediterranean diet, go on this kind of diet, Stone Age diet, paleo diet, and then take omega-3s and take these supplements and things like that. But what we're seeing, Ryan, is that when we end up testing these people, no matter what else they're on, we're finding that they're not getting into balance with what they're doing. I love to see it. We've only seen, to be honest, I said 97% are failing. In the United States, 99% are failing this test. So it's something to find out where you're at. And then we're getting people into balance. We want you down as close to 1-to-1 as we can get you. Now, pain. I have one more couple I'd like you to meet, Ryan, and that's because she was in a lot of pain. And I'd like you to meet Hugh and Leslie because the story was great of what they have had. So Hugh and Leslie, I'd like you guys to also come on just to hear their story of what the pain was doing or what they were doing to create a better life for them. Okay, I see that they're working on there. Okay, we also just need you to unmute.
Yep.
There you go. Hi, Hugh. Hi, Leslie. Good that you guys are coming on.
I'm Hugh Shiver, originally from Alabama, but living in the frozen Northland here, Minnesota. Was a carpenter for most of my life, 35, 40 years, and consequently developed arthritis, particularly in my hands. Kind of reluctantly started taking the product because Leslie really believed in it. I had my doubts and took it for a while, convinced myself it wasn't doing anything and quit taking it. And it didn't take long for me to realize that it had done quite a bit. The symptoms that had slowly went away came back with a vengeance. And since I've been back on the balance oil, most of the pain is dissipated. I got flexibility back. I can move my hands again. My original numbers, and this is one thing that has impressed me. I went from a 38-to-1 down to just under 4 at this point to 1. And with my new belief, I'm on the entire health protocol now. And I've dealt with acid reflux, my whole life. And I'm off the medication for that entirely and haven't hardly any symptoms with that. So I'm a true believer these days.
I love it. Thank you, Hugh. Leslie, I know for you, it's been quite life-changing.
Oh yeah, I love the balanced soil. My name is Leslie Shiver. I do live in Aiken as well, and I've been doing house cleaning for over 30 years. I've suffered with chronic back pain, and for all that time, I've always had an open door policy with my chiropractor because he's always had to crunch me back into shape. And, you know, one night I was volunteering at the community meal because I love to volunteer, and I was having bad back pain. And some volunteers saw my back pain or saw me, and she approached me, and her name was Trisha, actually. And she said, if I had something that would help, would you want to hear about it? And I said, sure, I would. So she started to explain about the balance test and then about the balance oil. So I started the balance oil, and, you know, about 3 weeks later, my back pain actually went away. And then after 120 days, I took the test, or actually before that, when I took the test, I was at 37-1. And then after 120 days, I was at a 4-1. Today I'm at a 2-1, which I'm really grateful for. But, you know, I haven't needed a chiropractor since I started the balance oil. And I'm more flexible than ever. And I'm 57, and I'm able to do as many things as I was at 40. This product's changed my life, and I'm going to share it with everyone because everybody needs to know this. No one needs to be suffering through this pain, and I'm eternally grateful. So thank you for hearing my story. And
Thank you.
yeah.
I so appreciate both of you guys coming on. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye
So
now.
Ryan, this has been, you know, I think it really is nice to hear people's story and hear that it does make a difference, that it's not money that's wasted, because that's what I say. You know, when I started in Scandinavia, everybody was taking fish oil. And so the question I ask people is, well, do you know if yours is working? So here,
Yep.
because of the fish oil in it, that's fantastic. It's from small fish, but because of the polyphenols in the balance product, they work together to get you completely into balance. So it's not getting rancid, and it's not just oxidizing. So this balance product is working. And to be honest, Ryan, I don't see anything else out there by the tests that we're doing that is really working and getting people under 3-1 where they need to be to have their body working optimally. Getting those vitamins and minerals that you need, we recommend, or Dr. Paul has actually formulated to what you could do to get that. And then the xenobiotic is what gets the gut into balance. Now, it's a prebiotic that actually touches every area. You have 5 different areas, which could have 5 different types of microbiome that need to get into balance. So those 3 things is what we're calling our health protocol. And those we know work, and we can see it on a test. Now, I know that when you are talking to clients, you want them to get healthy. You want them to feel better. And you want to recommend something that you're not just saying, here, try this, see how you feel. This is something that people can test and make sure that they're not wasting their money, and that actually it's going to do something good for them. It's not that it's the products that are working. It's actually just putting your body back the way it needs to be so your body can heal itself.
That's what's just amazing about it, how simple this whole process is. I mean, you would think to get your body in balance after years of imbalance, that 120 days, it's like, you know, how can you beat that? And how, yeah, just sticking to this routine of the nutrition and the supplements for 120 days. You have the objective test for before and after. Here in the physical therapy, you know, medical setting that we see, I mean, I know so many patients that are given these strong prescribed steroid medications and other medications to help with their diabetes and to decrease or to help their hypertension. And they're getting lab work all the time, hoping that they're getting a little bit better. I mean, and they're going to the doctor, and, you know, hopefully they have good health insurance, because that stuff is not cheap. All, you know, all these doctor visits and lab work and prescription medications, and they're doing this stuff for, gosh, who knows how many years. and usually it's not working. Usually they're still having high blood pressure. Their diabetes is still out of whack. They still have chronic back pain or neck pain.
And that's what I'm saying, is all ties together. Everything you completely described right now, all of those issues are lifestyle diseases because your cells aren't working. Healthy cells, healthy body. And to be honest, I love the fact, because I didn't have anything wrong with me to begin with, but I started out personally at 34.4 to 1. And I was a bit embarrassed about that. But once I had been on the product for 120 days, it was down to 2.9. Now, Ryan, like I said, I've been doing this for many years. And when you're getting your cells renewing, you're feeling good. I honestly feel better. And remember we said all cells, and Trisha was talking about the skin. I have to admit, I've been on these products. I've been in Zinzino about 10 years, and I feel maybe 10 years younger instead of 10 years older. So when I'm running around after my grandbabies and they're saying, Grandma, I've had many people come up and say, wait a minute, you can't be Grandma. And I think it's because, you renew your skin, and it does make you feel, it looks so much better when you have that too. So to me, this is like anti-aging. We're putting back the clock. We're going back into time to where before we had the pain, before our body was falling apart. It's that reset button, Ryan, the Control-Alt-Delete to your health. Instead of resetting your computer, reset your body and get it back working the way it did 100 years ago. And I think it's definitely worth getting completely healthy and knowing that this is absolutely working. So I'm sure that people are going to want to know if they want to look into more. I would like you to, if you want to know more about Dr. Paul Clayton, he has a blog. It's drpaulclayton.eu. You will find him there. Or I know Ryan is going to put a link in the comments. And I will also, if anybody has any specific questions, please write them in the comments here, and we will work to answer all your questions. And I hope it didn't sound too salesy about our company. Some of us are just very passionate about it and have ended up partnering up with a company, but we're really passionate about helping as many people get into balance as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everybody, like what Carla said, I'll be putting some links in the comment, and I'll be checking on any questions that you have. Just comment below with any questions you have. You can also send me a private message if you want something, if you want a little more privacy with it. Yeah, just ask us questions, and I hope you like today's our in-service today, and depending on the feedback, I'd love to do more of these. I really am blown away with how impressive this product is. Like I said, I've been pretty much, I don't want to say against these kind of supplements or vitamins, but I've always thought like it was just a big waste of time and money. And even myself, I took a lot of protein and vitamins and things like that to feel stronger and healthier when I go to the gym and things like that. But, do I know if it really worked and did anything? I don't know, to be honest. But, with this product, you have some real data that's going to guarantee that it's helping.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on, Ryan. And yes, if people are interested, we can go into the details of different things of what people want to know more of. But sure.
That's perfect.
Fantastic. Thanks, everybody, for being on.
Thank
I
you, Carla.
appreciate everybody. Thank you, Ryan, for having me on.
Thank you, Carla.